To start with my crack or this glue detail, I'm going to go back to my reference, okay, and I have a very specific one here. And the first thing I notice, I'm actually going to close this here so that I see it bigger. First thing I notice is that whatever the crack is, I'm not going to have color. It's going to be desaturated and brighter. That's probably because of the coating. Sorry, not color, I'm not going to have the pattern. Okay, so I have to do a new shader for that. And I'm going to start from the base shader I have. This is my base shader, okay? But the one on the crack is a little bit lighter. So I need to create a color correct in order to have that one a little bit lighter. So tab, color correct. Okay, and now I'm going to plug the color into the input. And that's going to be the color of my crack inside. So this is going to be color correct. Okay, so this is going to be inside that part. And now I need to create a mask on where these parts are going to be and where the rest of the texture is going to be. And for that, I'm going to do what we know in class as an advanced mask. This is now the color for the broken part. This is the pattern part. This is the bump part, and this is the specular nodes, okay? So for that advanced mask, I'm going to actually use a marble. So I'm going to go to my 3D textures, go into a marble, and first of all, I'm going to plug in the marble into my color. This actually has a 3D texture. And I'm just going to make sure I change the name here. So this is a place 3D for my broken mask. Okay, and this marble is going to be my broken mask. Okay, and now let's try to edit this marble so that it works the way I want it. Okay, and right now the way this is not really looking at all like this little crack, so I have to change a couple of things. Let's start by changing the vein width to maybe 0.05. I'm actually going to change it here. So 0.05, and then I'm going to take a lot less diffusion. And actually this is not updating on the viewport. So let's check how this is looking on my render. Okay, it looks very different. So unfortunately, it is not really updating. So I'm just going to check it out on my render. Another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to increase the contrast. I already tested these values before. Okay, but basically with the amplitude, I'm getting less curvy things if I reduce it. Okay, so it's a little bit more of a softer curve. The same with the radio. If it's larger, I have more things going on, so I'm just going to put it a lot smaller, like 0.4, so that the cracks are a little bit more contained, okay? If I would like to be very, very specific, then what I would do is multiply one crack on top of the other, so I have it in different orientations. But let's say this vase didn't really crack in such a bad way. And one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my broken mask node, and I'm just gonna move it a little bit lower and probably rotate it a bit. Okay, so let's say it kind of broke in that direction. I could also just rotate it up here. Okay, that could be. You just test it in a way that you like it, okay? Okay, I like this crack better. Okay, now I'm going to continue with this. So right now the crack is positioned in the right way. I have my projection right, but now I have to use my advanced mask. So I'm just going to go back to the test render. By the way, on view, I'm on test resolution 50% so that this doesn't crash when I'm rendering. Okay, I'm going to save again just for the sake of saving. Let's continue with my advanced mask. So I'm on my broken mask, and now what I have to do is plug in these colors. I have to plug the colors that I already have. Okay, so I have in my filler color, I'm going to have my whole diffuse color. Okay, that's going to be in my filler color. And in my crack, I'm going to have this broken color. So that's going to be in my vein color. Okay, and now this actually has the material that I'm looking for. So that will be here. If I render it again, and this crack is a bit too big. So on the broken mask, I'm going to make the vein width smaller, so maybe 0.2. Okay, and the amplitude a bit smaller. Okay, so I actually increased the contrast here because I didn't like this was about here and I didn't like this was getting diffused, so I just increased the contrast of my vein so that it feels more like I glued this together. Okay, and I have this simple crack, and as I said, you can just put another mask and put them together, okay, and get more cracks around as you wish. So I'm going to continue now. This is what we have now. We have the basic diffuse color, which is a combination of this broken part that has the broken color. It's just a color correct based on my clay. My basic diffuse color is actually my clay with my pattern, okay? Then from that pattern, I actually created the specular and also the bump map. Okay, so now I actually have my basic material, except for one last detail, which is the displacement map. Okay, and I could just leave it like that and imagine this is perfect. But if I want a little bit more realism, I could add the displacement map. So now I'm going to save